Stephen's recently started a YouTube channel. So Stephen, perhaps you can share your screen and we can take a quick look at your YouTube channel, because one of the criticisms of SANS is, okay, the stuff's fantastic, but it costs like crazy money for a lot of people. Unless you're working for a company, it's not likely that you're going to go to one of these courses. But I believe what you're doing, and I'll let you take it away. What are you doing on your channel?
Yeah, so I just started it in September 2022, so it's quite new. As you can see, there's only a few videos. But the thought was, like you said, training is expensive, and there are lower cost providers out there, more like subscription-based services where you can kind of pick and choose a bunch of little modules. And then there are more advanced training or more expensive training as well. Offensive Security, SANS Institute, many other ones out there. And getting access to that content can be cost prohibitive for a lot of people unless you have a company that's paying for it. I mean, I remember back when I was getting into IT, I went and I paid for a CCIE Cisco prep class, and I paid out of pocket. Oh, wow. It was over $3,000, and back at that time, that was quite expensive for me. So I had to get a loan out and pay it off. But I was investing in my future, and it was great. But like with this channel, what I wanted to do is take pieces of it's a couple of things. One, it's sometimes going to be content that's still really relevant, but maybe that I've retired out of a course. So for example, if you see on the screen on the far right, the very first one that I did was on browser exploitation. This, I would say probably 2014, right around there was like the prime of when exploits against Internet Explorer 8, which was the default on Windows 7, was at its peak. And use after free was like the de facto exploitation technique and vulnerability class that we were going after against that browser. Once you learned how to perform the techniques to gain code execution, I mean, obviously you have to find the vulnerabilities in the first place, but that's more of the easy part. Getting crashes to occur when you're fuzzing, that's the easy part. The hard part is determining whether or not it's something that can be weaponized and then actually getting it there. That particular one that I started with, it's ended up being 2 hours because I really wanted to go through just like if I were teaching a class and take it from A to Z, A to Z. And that's a particular module or section that I retired out of the SANS Sec 760 course. Aside from that, I'll also be doing stuff that is still in the courses or still very relevant. If you look over to the left, the most recent one I did at this time was in October 2022, and that was a session on modern binary and patch diffing, which we're still absolutely covering. It's a whole entire day or section of the course, and it's something I feel is really relevant and almost not appreciated as much as it should be. And so I wanted to present that to the community so folks can come in and get started and get up to speed and start going and bug hunting.
Stephen, this is fantastic news, I think, because one of the biggest criticisms I think a lot of people, YouTubers get, if you like, and I get this as well, is like, David, you keep teaching the basic stuff. You keep, teaching beginner stuff. And a lot of people, may start with the beginner stuff, but obviously they outgrow that as they go through their career. And there's correctly, your channel is not for beginners, right?
Yeah, my original thought was to focus primarily on advanced techniques, because like you said, when I go and type buffer overflow in YouTube, there are thousands of hits, I think. And so I didn't want to kind of repeat what's been done. But the funny part is people still reached out to me and they were like, hey, I just want to hear you covering buffer overflows because maybe the perspective will be a bit different. But yeah, so I do plan on doing some talks that aren't going to be more like career driven. Like I'm doing one on kind of how to get into red teaming, which won't be as technical. So I'll kind of weave in and out.
But I mean, you that 2 hour session, when I started looking at some of your content, you don't mess around, as in like some of those sessions are really hardcore, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think, you're making me think of a good idea, which is maybe at the beginning of some of these videos, I'm going to talk a little bit about the prerequisites. Like, if you're going to watch this, here's the things you should probably know already or go and, get up to speed. But I just want to get straight to the content and not have a bunch of fluff, I guess you could call it.